All right, you guys, installment number 4 with Wade Wilson. We're switching over to a Chris Henson show, and he's going to be talking to Jumpsuit Pablo. The name of this one is No Human Being More Worthy of the Death Penalty Than Wade Wilson.
In Florida than Wade Wilson. He's been convicted of the brutal, sadistic, cruel murders of Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz. I mean, these killings are just above and beyond. And now he sits on death row as his lawyers appeal the death sentence. And you probably have heard about this case. The killer himself has become a celebrity. He is a Charles Manson-like figure. He has courted women around the world. They have sent him hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay for his defense and other things. And this is all being chronicled in a documentary recently released on Paramount Plus. And one of the key people in the documentary.
Do you think he's like Charles Manson? I think he's worse than Charles Manson. And again, I still want comments below if you would like to share without being offensive to anyone of what would attract you to a man like this. And still, we're going with we need to think more of ourselves and more highly of ourselves and want more than what's happening right now with this guy and women.
One of the people who has exposed some of these jailhouse phone calls is a guy named Paul White, aka Jumpsuit Pablo, who's a content creator, a very talented one in his own right. And so it is that Jumpsuit Pablo, Paul White, is having a seat with me on this episode of Have a Seat with Chris Hansen. Thanks for joining me.
Yes, sir. Glad to be on here and glad to be talking about this because it's a wild case.
It is like nothing I have ever seen. To start off, who is Wade Wilson?
Wade Wilson is a guy who, from Florida, got himself into a pretty bad, nasty scene and lifestyle, and one day decided to go on a rampage.
See, right there, I can understand where women would go ooh-rah over him because he does look very, very cute and charming, and then opens his mouth and has nothing to offer. It would stop right there. But I can see it right now. I think if you look at his watch right there, it almost looks like there's like a naked woman on there, unless I'm tripping. All right, let's continue.
Murderous one, and took 2 lives, tried to take 3, all in the span of a few hours. He killed 2 women, Christine Melton, Diane Ruiz, and had no remorse for it. Didn't care one bit. And that's him in a nutshell.
How did you first get so fascinated with this case, Paul?
You know, I cover a lot of true crime, and I always have my eye on it and have my ear to the ground. And I started noticing there was some interest online with this guy, and with him being a murderer, not the good kind of interest. You know, it's
Right.
people are fascinated by his looks and how dreamy he is. And so, you know, I started looking into him, and I said, at this time, he's already in trial for these murders. And I have a partner YouTube channel called Phone Calls from Prison, and you know they specialize in obtaining phone calls that were made on prison and jail by notorious criminals. And so I said, hey, maybe we should look into this guy and just see if there's anything out there and see what because you may know, but a lot of people wouldn't believe.
And you see, this is where he did a lot of videos. If you jump over to his channel, Jumpsuit Pablo, he did a lot of videos with a lot of recordings and a lot of women going ooh and ah and just like, I don't know, falling to their feet for this guy and raising money and stuff like that. And with Jumpsuit Pablo, Annie Elise, and probably a lot of other people out there of wondering why would you be interested in that?
The kind of things people admit to and just say on these jail in prison phone calls, not knowing that they're going to be listened to eventually. And I said, let's just see what's out there. And when we got these calls and records back, it was insane, the things he was saying.
And inmates, Paul, know, or they're told, that these calls are recorded and that they're subject to public scrutiny. You can file a Freedom of Information report in most states and get copies of these. And in this, on your channel and the channel you collaborate with, and in this documentary, Handsome Devil, we hear some of these phone calls, including one between the killer, Wade Wilson, and his father. Take a listen.
They're not going to give me like the death penalty or anything, are they?
Wade, listen, I can't answer that. I'm not going to tell you yes or no. I don't know if it's a capital crime. You know, I think it has to be like premeditated capital crime or something. But you know, I'm not sure, son.
I won't lie, to be honest with you.
Okay, well, you know.
Take a good hard look at this man's face and see what's so attractive about it. What's so attractive about him? Why did he become a internet sensation? I'm still scratching my head wanting to know why.
Listen, all you can do, your first step was you did the right thing by being honest. Okay. Second step is you have to work on yourself a little bit and figure out what it is that triggered you like that. We know it's drugs.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
We know it's drugs, number one, but number two, why is it always women? Why are you so mad with women?
I don't know, because I don't know.
You got to work that out, son. You know, is it your biological mom? You feel like she abandoned you, or I mean?
No, I don't think it's anything to do with it. I don't think it's anything. I think it's like a power thing or something. I don't know.
It's as if he's admitting to his father that he committed these crimes, Paul.
Yeah. You know, and he was, his father was the first one he called right after he committed these crimes. You know, and kind of had him.
He was actually bragging to his father about these crimes that he did. I don't think he thought he would get caught, or I don't think he thought he would actually have to serve any time for it, because he's always gotten away with doing everything he wanted to do before, like beating the shit out of women, getting out, probably selling drugs, getting caught. I don't know that for a fact, but I don't think he thought that it would get to this extreme.
Moment of, oh man, I know I'm in big trouble now. I don't think it was a moment of remorse and what have I done. I think it was more, you know, now I'm scared of consequences and I know this is bad and I don't know what to do. And so he confessed to his father, and his father immediately called police and reported him. And so when he finally talks to his father in this call, yeah, you know, he has no choice, but his father already knows, and he has to confess and own up to what he did to his father. And as the next few calls with his dad go along, you realize it was never really about taking accountability with his dad or his actions and these awful things he did. He was really just going at an angle of asking for money to be put on his commissary account so that he could buy snacks and various things. That's was his immediate.
And this is whenever he got into scamming more women while he was locked up, and women actually believed everything that come out of his crazy ass mouth. All right, let's continue. We might speed the video up a little bit. If you do want to watch it, it is on Chris Henson's channel. He is featuring Jumpsuit Pablo, and it's called No Human Being More Worthy of the Death Penalty Than Wade Wilson, and I'm going to link that description in the description below.
Material and even taped it and just placed her body somewhere in the house. And he left and went to meet, you know, well, that's the.
He had told his father, though, that he left her there because she was too heavy to pick up. Something about post-mortem or something had already kicked in.
Extent of what he did with Christine Melton that we know.
And so he's got Christine Melton's car now. And this is around the time, and all this takes place in and around Lee County, Florida, which is near Fort Myers, Florida. And he then comes across Diane Ruiz. while he's in Christine Milton, his first victim's car. What happens then?
So he had just left a spa that is owned by his, at the time, girlfriend, Mila. And he had showed up there and assaulted her and beaten her and broken her nose, beat her to the ground, and eventually had to flee because bystanders, this is in broad daylight, bystanders came out and he took off. So he had just come from doing that. I, in my opinion, I fully believe he had every intention of killing her if he had the time or the privacy. And so he's driving down the street and sees Diane Ruiz. Diane Ruiz she has never met this man in her life, has no idea who she is. She is simply walking to work to start her shift. She said goodbye to her husband. She said goodbye to her 2 kids, walking down the street. And here comes Wade and offers her a ride. And so she gets into the truck and he ends up taking her some.
Remember earlier in one of my videos, red flag, don't get in nobody's vehicle. They can be as sheep in wolf's clothing. Not that she deserved what happened to her, but this right here is all the red flags of what not to do, what to look for when you're trying to meet a man or just play it safe in the real world, in life. Definitely don't recommend you hanging out with people that are locked up, but this is what you need to look out for when you're on the street.
Places strangling her until he believed she was dead. And after that, he threw her out of the truck or of the vehicle. When he's driving off, he says he looks back in the rearview.
He treats her like she was nothing, like she meant nothing to no one. It's absolutely awful what he did to her, and still women are wanting to be Wade wives.
Mirror and sees her moving.
Yeah, she's not.
So, in fact, she's not. And so he decides to back up and run her over. Not only did he run her over and back over her multiple times, time and time again, until he was sure that she was gone. And in his words on a phone call to one of these women, which he jokingly, and it was so funny to him, said, "I ran her over until she looked like spaghetti."
I've spent my career looking at hard evidence, and that's why I'm loving.
All right, we're going to listen to a jailhouse call just so that you can get some ideas, which I'm pretty sure you already have because this has been a big case and people are totally obsessed with it. I am just curious as to why and what makes this man so desirable to women. I think even men too, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait a minute. Let's take a listen to some of those calls.
Hey, Kristen.
Hello. What's up? How are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I got your picture too that you sent me.
Oh yeah? You like it?
Very cute. Very cute.
Very cute?
Very cute, for sure.
And in one case, Paul, at least one case, a woman was actually putting her teenage daughter on the phone with Wade Wilson and had even sent him pictures of the daughter, which takes this to a whole different shocking level. But
there's so much wrong with that. So much wrong with that. I'm going to say, what are y'all thinking? What the hell?
doesn't it?
Well, yeah. She said hers. I've heard.
Who does that? I mean, I've heard. Look, first of all, yeah, I'm sure you're just
Than I want to, but she
blown away by it.
clearly in active substance use too, and I really believe that we know for a fact she put her daughter on the phone with him, and she was underage, and there was no reason to do that. And he had conversations with her, and she did tell him, "Hey, did you get the pictures I sent of me and of my daughter?" And he's like, "Yeah, I did." And there's no that's such
Child exploitation
environment to send a photo of your child to Lois. I think that she did that just to keep him on the hook, because she knew that probably so many women were talking that she was willing to even kind of dangle her daughter as some type of carrot out there to keep him interested in talking to her.
This is just a little bit of it. There was also one lady or woman, little girl, whatever, that was smuggling drugs in and got caught. And she's still spending time today. So I really, 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 really hope that this is a lesson to a lot of women now of what not to do, and don't get tangled up in it. Active substance abuse or not, you need to have sense into the world, not get wrapped up in this kind of crap. You know, just don't get wrapped up in this kind of crap.
I mean, listening to this, it's almost beyond belief. You couldn't script this. If you were trying,
every new phone call is something totally unexpected, and just when you think it can't get crazier, each new phone call it does.
His main girlfriend, how did that relationship start?
I think she didn't know him at all. She didn't even live anywhere near him. She actually lived up north, and she saw him online, and she thought he was attractive, and got in touch with him. So they started. At this point, Wade is interested in talking to anybody who is interested in talking to him, and he's going to ask you for money. He's going to ask you to put it on this, and he's going to ask you to send this person this message and do this, and just you're an errand runner, and also you're a source of money for him. And so this girl was obviously very, very. I mean, she would do anything that he asked, and so she's a keeper for him, and she became his main person, and she, just like that one woman, her angle was,
All right, you guys, definitely go check out No Human More Worthy of the Death Penalty Than Wade Wilson. It's by Chris Hansen, and he is talking to Jumpsuit Pablo. And again, it's just my opinion and my opinion only. And I mean no offense to all the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful women out there, and even the men who probably fell for Wade Wilson's. He's got a good gift of gab, and anyone honestly could have fell for it. I'm a lot stronger today from a big bad boy past that I probably didn't mention in my first few videos that I had prior to that, which is why I feel compelled to do what I can to try to help people out when I can, and maybe post videos like this and reactions like this, red flags of what not to do. Like, you're worth so much more than that. Anyway, I hope that you will like my video, subscribe, and share. And I'm going to put the description of this video down below. And until next time, everyone have a great night.